Well, good morning, almost afternoon. It's 11:30 a.m. and it is the 18th of June. And I am still at Storrie Lake State Park in New Mexico. New Mexico news today. I was surprised that when I got an alert on my Weather Channel app about a fire in New Mexico. It's in the Ruidoso area. It's about 200 miles kind of southwest of here. The entire village of, I guess, late in the afternoon, early evening, the entire village was rapidly evacuated due to a quickly spreading fire. And I understand people were told to leave. Do not grab any belongings. Leave. It's that urgent. And the last I heard that the fire had grown in size this morning, and that's always pretty scary. Friends of mine I realized two friends of mine were traveling, going to go right through that area, and I quickly made sure that they hadn't left and weren't on the way there or weren't trapped there or weren't affected by that. And the truth is they were affected by it because they had to postpone their trip because of the danger in getting through that area. So that tells you how high, I know there's at least one terribly big out of control fire in California that I've been hearing about for a couple of days, and now it's hitting New Mexico. No smoke up here or anything yet. 200 miles, it's a pretty good distance away. Hope for the best. Right now, I am just heading out of the park and I'm heading towards Wally Mart. Get some provisions. When I was in Pahrump, I was pretty good about it, doing one short and one long form video a day, and I want to get back into that habit, but it was pretty tough that first week, the 2 heavy travel days. And then the really big problem for me was that if you've seen that, there's 2 travel videos out now for that, a part 1 and part 2 for my trip from Pahrump to here, and I labeled it Las Vegas to Las Vegas because really Pahrump's right outside of Las Vegas, Nevada, and it was essentially a trip from there to Las Vegas, New Mexico. You wouldn't think it would be that big a deal, but it was a heavy 2-day trip. And I tried something new that caused me all kinds of editing problems. I did a 3-camera shot of the trip. One facing out, like you're seeing now, one facing in, like you're seeing now. And this is actually both cameras in this because of the software in the iPhone. But I was using 3 separate full resolution cameras, one on Dottie, one on my face, and one straight ahead. And I did not anticipate what would happen when I tried to load those 3 videos at the same time into editing software. Even though I've got a huge amount of disk space and RAM in a fairly new computer, basically it said, nope. So I got it done, and there was a lot of waiting involved. Not actual editing, but just waiting for the numbers to crunch and whatever it is the editing software does, rendering, I guess they call it. Oh my gosh, that took forever. And then it took a really long time to upload both of those. So I just put out one this morning, and they're both an hour long. I had to split it in 2 parts because it's going to be 2 hours. And I thought about just going in there and shaving off the most boring parts. Well, I'm just going to experiment and see if people are into the longer format on a travel video. Maybe not. The views will tell me. The views and average view time will tell me whether that's going to be a good idea in the future or not, and I'll just respond accordingly. Sometimes I'll do a 40. They tell you, don't. All the advice you get is do short videos, don't do long videos. People won't watch them. People don't watch YouTube to watch feature length stuff. And I've had hour-long videos that people really liked and got a lot of views, and I don't know. We'll see. I'll just respond accordingly. I don't have all that much to talk about. Sally Forth attended like this open meeting, I guess public meeting for the Nevada, or excuse me, the New Mexico state parks on raising the rates pretty substantially. And one of the rates is they're proposing raising this out-of-state pass that I have that cost me $225. They want to raise that to $600, and for electric, instead of paying $4 a night, they want to up that to $15 a night, which brings me right now. I'm paying $150 or $160 a month with electric if I factor in the cost of the $225 over 3 months. So, or 4 months, I think. 4 months. So let's say $175 on the outside. That's super frugal. If the rate changes going, it'll go up to $700 or close to $700 a month, and that's just, I can stay in an RV park in most of New Mexico for $700 a month with full hookups. Not that I'd really want to. Let's be fair. I want to be in the beautiful state parks. I don't want to be in an RV park. Most RV parks aren't as beautiful as state and federal parks. There are exceptions. I get it, but it's a huge difference to ask someone to pay $600 instead of $225, and $15 instead of $4. And she got on and asked a question. She said, when in your projections for income, how many pass holders did you assume were going to be purchasing passes? And their answer was exactly the same number. So their assumption was 100% of the people that purchase passes at $225, if they raise the rates, are going to purchase their passes at $600, which doesn't seem to make any logical sense to me at all. It doesn't make sense. I don't know who's doing their financial projections, but that's crazy town. But I think they need to make an adjustment there and meet somewhere in the middle. Would I pay $600? No. Would I pay maybe $300, $350? That's in the neighborhood of me thinking, yeah, I might consider doing this, because I want the parks to do well. I want them to have enough money to do the maintenance and take care of it, and I want the employees taken care of. I'm chipping out. If I'm going to use the facilities, I'm willing to pay for that. But you get much above $300 a year, and maybe doubling the 4 to 8. That's still, I get it that they haven't been able to raise these rates in 20 years, and I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go into Walmart. I'll be out. I'll chit chat a little bit on the way back and then we'll see. Well, we'll end the video when we get back to the park. Okay. Well, I am back from shopping, and I was so close to being able to say, hey, I only bought what was on my list and not a single thing more. I was on my way to the register, but I didn't make it. So there was a extra large package of these body wipes that attractive price, so I picked them up. And then there was a display of these cleaner things for my glasses that I really like, and so I bought a box of those. But I did manage to keep the dollar amount for this grocery shopping trip under $100, which in this day and age is a little bit of an accomplishment. But I certainly have not been on a major shopping trip like this for well over a week. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know which way you're going and where you're going. There you go. Okay. I couldn't figure out. She's got a scooter there. And I got to get some ethanol-free gas for the generator. And all the work I've been doing with more than one tech. Generator, small engine tech. Suggests that you can get ethanol-free gas. Use ethanol-free in your small engine, especially your generator. And I have bought a bottle of stabilizer, so when I move from here and I go to where I have electricity, I put some stabilizer in the gas tank, in the 5-gallon tank and in the generator. I lost my train of thought. Here I'm going to get gas. I'll be right back. So I've just went along recording for a pretty long time, and I wasn't really recording. It's very strange. Anyway, but the red light was on and everything, but I noticed I wasn't moving and the road wasn't moving. So anyway, I got my ethanol gas and for the generator, and I was saying how I have calculated on hot days it might cost me $6.50, maybe even $7 in gas. That's probably an exaggeration. If I had an electric site here, it would be $4 a day. But you know, even if it's $7, that's a good deal. You know, it's better than being in an RV park paying $40, $50. Right now with my pass, the spot that I'm in, all it cost me was for 2 weeks is the $12 reservation fee. So that's less than $1 a day. And so let's say it's 75, 80 cents. Let's call it $1 a day. It was, you know, it's $12 over 14 days. I know that's a little less than $1. Let's call it $1. And let's say I pay $7 every single day I'm here because it's so hot. Well, that's $8 a day. Hello, $8 a day? Not a problem. Yeah, there's no way it's going to be $8 a day. And there was the generator's running, the new generator is running at about 60% capacity when the AC is on. And when it cycles off, it's down at almost idle. So $7 in fuel is an exaggeration. But I like exaggerating because I get this poor guy doesn't. The office was closed, so he's trying to figure out what to do, and it's hard to know exactly what you're supposed to do, especially on this left-hand turn here. You know, he's making the tight turn because he's got a small trailer, but it's pretty tight. And what this is designed to do, but it's not completely obvious. It's got this. You're supposed to pull forward into that dirt road, and that makes your left-hand turn easier. But it's not completely obvious. But he was able to make the turn. But I noticed it was pretty tight for him, even with the short our pod. It's about the same size as my trailer. So we're back here at camp. A lot of people leaving. I noticed quite a few people early in the morning driving out of the camp. It's a Tuesday. We're gonna Donna and Sally. Got a senior moment there. Donna and Sally and I are gonna hit a pizza place this afternoon, 4 o'clock this afternoon. Go to a pizza place in town that's supposed to be pretty good. Or actually, I got a text from Sally. They changed their mind about the pizza place. We're going someplace else. A place called maybe Tilly's, or I don't know. I will tell you where we go, and if it's really good, I'll do I'll have my iPhone with me. I'll do a quick review. So this is kind of a curious thing. The camp host is next to me, and there's a trailer there that has a lot of tarps over it. And I'm assuming I bet they're hot days here, so it makes sense that someone might have some tarps over it. But I got to tell you, between you and me, they don't look very good the way they're on, and they're not a uniform color, and it just doesn't look good. But that's not the odd thing. The odd thing is, with one exception, I've not seen anyone there at that site. No vehicles, no person, no sign of a camp host. Other than Father's Day, there were 2 vehicles that parked there Father's Day, and a bunch of people, and it looked like they were having a cookout right at that site. But they didn't look like anybody spent the night, and they were gone the next day. And there's another, on the other side where Sally is, there's another camp host site, and it's a trailer with no vehicle around it, and they have not seen any indication that anyone's staying there, which is so odd. I'll show you what I mean when we get up here. If this is a wide enough view, so move it over a little bit so you can see. And I'll tell you when we're coming up. Well, you'll see on the left, there's a trailer with a bunch of blue and black tarps hanging off of it in a very haphazard kind of a way. And you'll see that, if you look close, you'll see the camp host sign. So you can see it's definitely a trailer there, and tarps and stuff in the shelter. But from what I see here, and I'm looking pretty carefully, that trailer, oh no, he's hooked up to electricity. I didn't see the cord before. But the camp host does not seem to be there. Very, very odd. Oh well. So here we are at home, and that'll end this video right here. And I love it when you guys watch my videos. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will see you soon.